he too would appreciate that from the reactions that you've seen in the social media so far, he seems appear to have been partially forgiven, and he has become a hero of some sort, if at least temporarily. And that's the way to go. I wish that our politicians would listen more to those of us who are not their aides and their supporters and whatever, and tell them the harsh truth. If a lot of them did that, to be honest with you, they won't be in embarrassing situations that they are. But the way politics is run here, you have so many hangers on and so on, and they keep pumping you and pumping you and pumping you. And the day you fall into the pit, they turn their backs on you. I congratulate and thank Donye Okupe for what he has done, for being, because look, let's face it, he's committed the crime, he's gotten his punishment. Since he was given an option of fine, that's punishment, and the stigma to his punishment. But he has set himself in a position where maybe you will say he can turn a new leaf, as it were. Though he says that he's still going to go further to clear his name. Now, the danger in going further to clear your name is if you go to the appeal court and you go to Supreme Court and they affirm the sentence, then there's nowhere for you to hide again. So I think that wise counsel, and from the bits that one can see of the case and the history that one knows of where all these monies originated, wise counsel might be to just let sleeping dogs lie. Okay, he's elderly. Let him just let sleeping dogs lie and not test his luck further. But I'm sure the lawyers will disagree. And then, of course, maybe by Nigerian whatever, he can arrange something for himself. But I'm glad that all this is over. And from what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing in some of the papers, it appears as if Ayo Shotokun might take over from him as director of the campaign. I don't know. I can't affirm that, but that's the Ayo Dayo. I think it's Ayo Shotokun might take over his campaign. If that takes place, then both Okupe and Oshotokun have an undotted line to Obasanjo. So what would that be telling you? It's just a speculation. It's not a fact. What would that be telling you? Anyway, the Obi himself, the candidate, he has denied that he did not say that Okupe's conviction is a witch hunt. But I particularly like the letter that Donye Okupe sent to Peter Obi. Very personal letter. Some guy in social media was making a fuss that he wasn't dated. He wasn't, all these people who just want to look for something. Look, leave this man alone. He's committed the crime. On record, that's what it is. He's been convicted. And please, what we are told to do is to always provide an avenue for people to reform themselves. You don't keep persecuting them after the punishment has been meted out to them. Okay, and so nice personal letter, and he says, "Dear Peter, you will recall that I briefed you yesterday about my personal travels in seeking justice and clearing my name, using the Nigerian judicial system to pursue same." He says, "I have invested too much in your campaign to allow." Now, I like this sentence, to allow your personal travels to become a source of distraction. In the circumstances, I've opted to step aside and plead that you appoint a campaign DG who will continue the assignment with zero distraction. So that's a nice one we got today. I wish that politicians, more of them, had this kind of heart to know when to put their hands up. Again, we'd have a better political terrain. But the most important thing is, for those of them, a lot of our politicians, don't keep listening to your hangers-on, whose life depend on you achieving whatever political, whatever you're on. Because they couldn't be bothered. All they want is to push you to that point. Listen to the wise counsel of people outside who are dispassionate, and don't believe when they tell you all the time that this man hates you or this man doesn't like you. We don't hate anybody. We just give good advice and see the way it has turned out now for Okupe. Well, so to the Labour Party, congratulations. That's one hurdle that you've crossed.
Let's start with the Vanguard. Page 10 this time around. Mile 2 Marina Rail line to convey 200,000 passengers daily.
Now, this is a piece of good news, both for the public and indeed for the APC in Lagos. Fair is fair, whether it's taken forever or not. I must say that this Mile 2 Marina, whatever it is, the Mile 2 to Marina Blue Rail Line system, is a win-win for everybody. When it does take off, it's a win-win for the party, it's a win-win for the public. But I wish that such diligence would be applied in other simple areas like traffic control, environment. That's where the main weakness is, to get those in power to concentrate on the simple things. This morning I heard you reading out something like a traffic advisory or whatever it is. This morning you were saying something like...
That's right. I was personally just giving...
Yes. I wonder if anybody is listening. The indiscipline in traffic is unprecedented. Drivers driving one way. Imagine somebody all the way from Ido comes on reverse to get to Idumota. As of 2 days ago, it was still happening. Where are the authorities? So this is nice. It's not just nice, it's beautiful. And I'm going to make an effort to go on this rail for the fun, just for the fun of it. And it will decongest that Mile 2, whatever area. Fantastic. It's still going to go further, yes, and we hope that it could have been done faster. But look, like Oyinbo people say, better late than never. So we congratulate them for this. You have to tick the box for them on this one. You can't but do that. But we also say that the simpler things, making life bearable for Lagosians is important. Discipline is important. I don't know why there is this fear that, when you want to apply discipline, people will not vote for that. Has been poo-pooed by what Fashola did. Fashola made life difficult for those who couldn't subject themselves to discipline. I remember when, for example, he stopped street parties. Before, you'd be asking yourself, how can I bury my father and not close the street? It was the norm. Close the street for 3 days. But look, by the time election was due, I remember even telling him that he should just go and rest somewhere and not bother to campaign. The job is done. Even when the powers that be dictated that, he wouldn't get the ticket and so on and so forth, I think better reason prevailed at that time. Because some of us were ready to even form a party for him to come on. So I'd like to call on the governor in Lagos. You need to dedicate yourself. You need to dedicate yourself to make life, forget all the propaganda. People are suffering. And why I keep harping on this thing is that I maintain again, there's a likelihood that this man would win the election again. I think there's a likelihood. I'm not Nostradamus. And therefore I have the fear that how would we continue to live like this for the next 4 years? And it is in that spirit that I appeal to his conscience to concentrate on the job. And these are simple little things. Traffic, environment, provision of water. I kept saying, Lagos State doesn't need any manifesto or whatever. The manifesto should be a one-liner. Getting Lagos to work even as it is. You do that for 2 years, then you can start all the grandiose things. So congratulations, Lagosians. Congratulations to everybody all around. Congratulations to the party. For the party, I'm hoping that one day we'll have a party that can give you a good run for your money. Not so much that I want you to lose, but it would even help you succeed. So congratulations. I don't know. I think when is it going to be launched? It's going to be launched any time from now. But they say that. Let me read the story here. I've gone on a rant before even reading the story. That Lamata disclosed that the infrastructure is complete and ready for operation, but there is no date here. Please, instead of wasting time trying to do day launching and so on and so forth, can we, if the thing can work tomorrow, let's start immediately. When you need, then you can do your launching and whatever at a better time. But so far so good. That is at least cheering news this Christmas.
All right. Let's take another one here from Vanguard newspaper. Monitoring campaign misconduct.
This editorial is very crucial and it's coming from the Vanguard. Monitoring campaign misconduct. There's a lot of it to go around. A lot of it to go around. Sheriff, just yesterday I announced and I've started knocking people off my social media, whatever, because the thing has become some kind of abuse. It's become everything is hate. Even in congratulating to you, Kupe, for doing the right thing, so you still found people saying, because it is him now. I don't have time for that kind of thing. And I don't think any right thinking time would have time for that. I've said to myself, if I can't sit with you in the bus and we could discuss and I go my way, then I'm not going to have anything to do with you. There's misconduct all around. What does abusing or harassing your opponent, what does it contribute to the success of your candidate's desire? Nothing. So what you end up having is complete nonsense, and it's across board. One of them was even quoted as saying, when the jungle matures. How can they, a mature citizen say when the jungle matures, just because you want to have an election? I remember calling him to order then that you don't use such words. So the Vanguard is concerned, and I am also concerned. The Vanguard says here, it is desirable that eligible voters critically assess all the candidates seeking elective office and make their choices accordingly, without let or hindrance or coercion of any hue, be it ethnic, religious, regional, or partisan considerations. Voters should be wary of those who dish out empty propaganda messages or use fake news to campaign. There's a lot of that. When I see what we campaign, I will fix it. We will fix the security. We will fix the security, bravado, but you don't see anything. I would have loved somebody who says that my plan for this country is that for the next 2 years, I want to stick to the basics and get the basics working. Get our hospitals up and running. Just stick to the basics. Then I'll know I'm dealing with reasonable. But when I just said that we will fix this in the year, we will fix that and we will fix that. We've heard all that before. So voters should be wary of empty propaganda messages or use fake news to campaign. Those that resort to the use of violence, financial inducement, and intimidation to compel citizens to rally or vote for them are forewarning us of how they will govern if voted into power. This is very, very important. If you find a party or a candidate is resorting to fake news, empty propaganda, financial inducement, or violence, or intimidation, there's a lot of intimidation going around. A lot of intimidation. And the messages that are going around, funny enough, it's not going to gather any new. You'll be talking to the converted. When your message always go to social media, whether you like it or not, it will be this. Whether you like it or not, it will be that. Bravado. Voters should be wary of that. If they succeed through force, they will rule through force. Sheriff, if they succeed through force, they will rule through force. Okay? You need to take note of that. And they then say that the National Peace Committee should go beyond just persuading candidates to commit to peaceful election and accept results. As a group of statesmen and eminent persons, they should establish a bureau for monitoring and documentation of election utterances and misconduct to identify those who violate the terms of their undertaking. I'm sorry I have a bit of a cold, but I'm trying to get through it.
Right. Let's go to the Punch. Let's drop the Vanguard for now. Cash limits reps order CBN to stay action. Banks adamant.
Well, there's a silent war going on between the CBN on its cashless directive, between the CBN and the politicians. Apparently, it appears the politicians are not finding it funny. And therefore, the House of Reps keep inviting Emefiele to come and explain to them what it is he wants to do, but the man is behaving like what I would call an artful dodger. He's on assignment with the president, he's doing this, he's dodging, that's exactly what it is. But I like the matured approach of the Speaker of the House, Bajabi Amila, who said, when the House was warming up, he now said this. He said, the invitation was not from the Speaker, the invitation was from the House. That is one. Two, in fairness, at the time the invitation went out, that's to Emefiele. At the time the invitation, he was already out of the country officially, so I don't want to see it as disrespect as such. He said, he was already out of the country, I get your point, once, twice, and there cannot be a third time. He's been invited twice. And I don't think he can be out of the country for so long. I'm just thinking that we can give another date on Thursday. Now, this is the key. Baja said that he should come on Thursday or send somebody who knows about this. Now, that's a peaceful move. Come or send a deputy governor or something like that who knows about it. I mean, because already members of the House were blowing hot and cold. They were blowing hot and cold with a lot of bravado. But the speaker, just said, look, we don't have to have the man in person. He can send somebody. Now, the implication of sending somebody is that that person cannot make a commitment. I think that the CBN governor with the president, because those are the only two people that we think started all this. Mm-hmm. Since the Minister of Finance himself even said that she didn't know about it, they are resolute to push this thing forward. Because it stays here that the banks are adamant, and I'm sure the CBN governor must have made phone calls to, because you see, the elections are around the corner, and I suspect that, for credible elections and all other reasons, they're trying to limit the movement of cash. This cash that you give out at voting points, at voting points. So the president is committed. He has said it 1,001 times to a free and fair process. At least you saw that in the primaries. I can almost boldly say that the candidate that was picked at the primaries, given the president's disposition and his mien, probably was not his favored candidate. It got a bit more complicated when he attended the first campaign. I didn't say a word. Okay, but he let it go. So that's what we're going to see. I think this policy is going to stay. At some point, they may have to call in the speaker and the Senate president and put all of them in order, put a bit of pressure on them, and to say that, look, we will not allow this idea of cash flowing around. So the question is, how do you now compensate the voter whose vote you bought? Are you going to be asking for various accounts at the polling booth? Or
so
you think they'll find a way around it?
I don't know what they will do, but going by the record of Nigerian politicians,
They find a way around
they
it.
will find a way. It's their way.
I think so. They'll find a way
It's their way. In fact, they've already found.
How much
They're
is
just looking for other ways.
How much is a dollar to naira now?
I think it's about 7.55 in the parallel market.
And they give them $2. In fact, they'll get excited. Sometimes
Foreign currency, I mean.
yeah, foreign currency.
The fact that
just
it's not foreign currency
yes.
alone.
So they haven't.
They'll find a way.
They'll find a way.
They'll find a way. It's just that, I mean, the policy will definitely affect vote buying.
It will.
Like, to a very large extent.
And even in everyday lives, it's been low. But like I said, you will continue to tweak it, yes. But in principle, I think it's a fantastic idea.
It is a great idea.
You will continue to tweak it, due to...
It is a great idea.
You won't move cash every day, or you want elections dishing out money in cash on the line. I mean, come on. It's so primitive.
It is.
I don't... Even people who
It
take
is.
these monies, why should somebody buy your conscience? You put yourself up for a second slavery. Because if you vote for a man and he's giving you money to vote, you are not in control of what he does. He has bought you. Lock, stock, and barrel. And it's an African thing. I was thinking one of my very quiet days, that how did the slave trade start? 30 Oibos showed up on a ship. And you had 2-3 villages back to back. They couldn't drive them off. Rather, they captured their own people and gave it to them. We have a long way to go.
It's insane, Abi.
It's insane.
I was having this conversation
insane.
about the blacks and the whites the other day, how civilization started actually from the black continent and the white continent and the rest of them. And it's such a deep conversation that you can't start and finish at and I don't even care how long you discuss it. because there are so many angles to why Africa has remained a beggar's continent when they have everything that they need to be superpowers. And I'm not talking about Nigeria alone. I'm talking about the continent itself. The continent literally sustains other continents of the world.
Because our people they sell us out. Our leaders sell us out. And instead of us to react, we always now pray to God that we have the aspiration to join them.
Exactly.
I haven't for a long time. I don't think I've seen a fully patriotic Nigerian leader. For a long time, I can't think off the top of my head. The one that we had, it didn't last up to 6 months. Murtala Mohammed was ready to, and to be fair, Obasanjo too. To be fair, don't judge him by this one. By that first one, when he was a military leader, Obasanjo has the credit of being one of the strong African leaders who contributed to the end of apartheid. I'll never forget it. When he acquired BP and whatever, it was a master stroke. You know, and that's why what is happening between us and South Africans today is very, very unfortunate.
Yeah,
we had some of them on the campuses with us here. Thabo Mbeki lived on Bode Thomas. You know, yes, we had lots of them here. Nigeria in those days, when I remember the days of Jogaba, Gawan, oh my God. What we have now, well, and what we'll have in future, well.
Yeah. Africa has a long way to go.
Should we be asking the candidates to please show us their ministerial list as part of the campaign?
Maybe not necessary.
You don't think so?
Maybe not necessary. What we're concerned about is that please get your cabinet ready. So please don't take 6 months before you get down and start working.
Wouldn't it? Well, for the party that says that their own style of governance is a collective, maybe we should ask to see, all the other members of the collective.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
To see who is going to run what.
Nobody should take forever, Sha, to start working.
They shouldn't take forever. No.
Let's take this story here from the Punch, page 31. It reads, Adekpoju, Showroom, others receive house keys from FG.
This story saddens me. For those of you you'll be wondering who is Adekpoju, who is Showroom, and others who receive the house keys from the federal government. I will tell you who these are. The federal government on Tuesday fulfilled its 28-year-old promise by handing over keys to a 3-bedroom bungalow to each of the 1994 Super Eagle players. 1994. They never born some of them now.
Oh, that's right.
And they're just getting the houses now. The 3 natural heroes are Mutia Adegboju, Showroom, and Finidi George, Akinamao, who served as a team doctor and a beneficiary of National Housing Project. Adewale Adeshokun also received their keys. It took us 28 years. These are heroes. These are footballers, by the way. For those who are wondering who Finidi George is, he's not a scientist. He represented Nigeria, and that 1994 team was the best that we ever had. He had Amokachi. He had all these, heroes.
We have not been able to replicate that team.
Replicate that team. We almost beat Italy, but for indiscipline.
Yeah.
And so it has taken. Now, is this any form of encouragement? I'd like to ask. There is something wrong with us in Africa. Look at Bappe, the French guy. I read somewhere that his father, who himself was a footballer, wanted Bappe to pay for Cameroon. Okay? So what the members of the Cameroon FA told him to go and bring money? Roger, before they will put him in the team. Today he's the golden boot and France gets the credit. Firstly, let's say that the good news is that this nonsense behavior is not restricted to Nigeria. So we have cousins who are also involved in this thoughtless thing. But can you see how shameful it is? The guy now carries the golden boot and is credited to France. Look at the French team. How many of them were black Africans? Up to 8? Up to 8 or more. If it was here now, we'll be talking of it should be this and it should be that. There should be ethnic balancing and so on and so forth. 8. But who took the glory? France.
France.
I rest my case. I congratulate these people. I'm sure for one or two of them, the 28-year bungalow in the waiting is an anticlimax, really. But they say, in this case, it's better late than never. In this case, better late than never. I don't know. What do you think? I know Westerhoff just got his own 28 years after.
Yeah.
But I think what you say is that he's thankful to God and President Buhari for doing this during our lives. You see, he probably thought in his lifetime, it would not. It's very sad.
And let me also add this. There is this Super Eagles player that played for the Super Eagles, he's a home-based player. He joined the foreign counterpart in camp, and they played, and then some cash rewards were given to them, and because I don't know why, he seemed to be the only one that didn't get paid. All the foreign players got their money, but this home-based player hasn't. As at the last time, 2 days ago, that I saw the trend.
The guy probably even had to pay to get, so he might even not have, to use the Nigerian word, he might not have the liver. I don't know what liver has to do with courage.
That's another thing.
Excuse me, sorry, I have a cold. I don't have the liver.
Okay, we have to go now. You're coming back at 9?
By His grace.
Okay,
yeah.
Alrighty. Let's just take a break. When we return, we'll continue our conversation on patriotism.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MT.
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those that need to be fired are fired.
It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not.